Let's see. What the hell? Okay, I didn't do that, but we are live. We are live on YouTube, like right now. And I didn't press a button, Jacob. What the hell? That about like it's you to view the camera. Okay, I didn't do that, but we are live.
So I mean, hey, that's kind of you know
we are live on YouTube, like right now.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to
and
the
I didn't press a button, Jacob. What the hell? That about like it's you to view the camera. Okay, I didn't do that, but we are live.
So I mean, hey, that's kind of
All right, so you hear me?
I can hear you.
So we good. We live and in action. You know, when you pros, you deal with whatever's thrown at you and you adjust. So yeah, so what's up with everybody? I guess they really wanted us on because I ain't pressing a button.
YouTube was Jay ain't ready. I'm ready for y'all. But YouTube was just too happy. YouTube was like, see, y'all playing. We gotta get to them because we gotta tell them, you know, what's popping with the playoffs right now. And as y'all know, this is the fifth quarter. I'm your girl, Miss Neat. That's Jay Arlene, and we are here to bring y'all the live and direct instant, what is this, a reaction to what we just saw today. How you feeling, Jay?
I'm good. I kind of saw the whole game while driving, and I probably shouldn't say that, but it's the reality of what it was. You know, so I was moving around and, you know, kind of enjoying myself. I had to bring the daughter upstate. I had to bring her to the big LSU, and make sure she was settled for semester number 2. So I had to do that. And we ended up driving during the time which the game was happening. A good drive, very good drive because the Saints won. And I had the Saints not won, I might have been in a different mood. You know what I'm saying?
You a little upset.
Right. It took care of business.
Now we're here with Spreaker first. I mean, with YouTube first. Are we taking care of Spreaker today?
Oh, Spreaker already on game. You know how to make sure that they're straight. They're good.
Spreaker good. What up, y'all? It's your girl, Miss Neek. Welcome to the fifth quarter.
That's right. And it's King Orleans. I know we here. Look what's so good, though. We was kind of in a sync, and you didn't even realize it. While you was telling everybody who it was, boom. Spreaker was coming up at the same time, so they heard you say what you said.
That's how we get down. We always ready. Get ready, you ain't gotta get ready. You hear me? That's
100. 100. So we got an interesting audience today. There are a few people that are excited about, you know, tonight's conversation that we're gonna have regarding the Saints, and obviously everybody's looking forward to you know, next week. A lot of opinions about what's gonna happen next week. You got 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, Tom Brady and Drew Brees going at it. And we'll save a little bit of that. You know, we got to get to it. You know, let's kind of do righteous by today. Miss Nick, real quick. You know, if you didn't see the game, Saints 21, Bears 9. At any point, were you nervous that we might lose this game?
The first half of the game, I was a little shaky. We weren't really catching the rhythm like we should have, and it wasn't really looking playoff-esque. But, you know, as our history proves itself, we're a second half team. So I don't know if I was ever really afraid that we wouldn't win. I just thought that it would be a shootout because we won by like 1 point in the season, right? So,
right.
No, you never want to get too comfortable. And the Saints have taught me, especially during playoffs, that we don't never want to get too comfortable. Now look, before we get too deep into our conversation, this is what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to jump on YouTube right now, hit the subscribe button, click Sports Talk NOLA, and click subscribe. Then I want you to click share. Share this to your Facebook, your Instagram, your text message, your emails. Send it, put a pin, a note on your kids, send it next door to their grandma's house. I just need y'all to get everybody on this show. Share it to all your Facebook groups, all of your fan pages, all of your football groups that you're in. Bring your people in, because this is where we're going to be. And y'all need to get used to this, because we'll be back next season after we win this bowl this year. You know I had to say that. I can't not.
I'm glad you feeling that way. I'm going to say this too. You know, what I need everybody to do is, if you got something to say, because I get messages, I know you get messages, come on in the YouTube chat and let us be able to bring that into the show. You know what I'm saying? We're friendly. You know, me and Miss Neek, we have the mic. You know, but we definitely want to make sure that those who have something to contribute to the show can do that. So you can do that by coming over to our YouTube channel. It's on Sport Talk NOLA. If you can't find it, search up the fifth quarter. We're live right now. We're live looking, Miss Neek's studio, my studio, and we welcome all conversations. I literally just sent the link to a Bucks chat. So We may have some Bucks fans coming into the chat. I also sent it to a Chicago Bears fan. So we moving. So we want to make sure that we bring in all listeners. Every opinion is welcome. Come on in and share your opinion. We talk Saints football, but we respect it. If you do your thing and you're the opposite team and you beat the Saints or you win or you thorough, we're gonna tip the cap. We're gonna do what we need to do. Speaking of thorough, real quick, if you ain't watching the Steelers and Browns game, you're shocked. If you are watching it, it's 21-0. Steelers are down right now to the Browns. The Steelers are at home. 21-0 Browns right now. They don't have their head coach. Their offensive coordinator not there. They're missing a whole bunch of people because of this COVID thing. And them boys are up 21-0 in the first quarter of that game.
First quarter. COVID has really thrown some twists and turns at people this year, things that they're just really not expected to deal with. And it may prove to be a really big deciding factor during this playoff run this year. Y'all just really got to be careful. So
absolutely is. And it's so much so. You look at the games of this week, Super Wild Card Weekend is what they called it, right? And there's a lot of time left in the game. You think about the Browns, they're one of those organizations that, over the history of their team, you expect the bad to happen. So Steelers are down, 21 points right now. It's still 4 minutes left in the first quarter. A lot of football left. You know what I'm saying? So they got to keep the pedal to the metal. But we'll see. So it could end up being a classic. If you're not watching it, keep your eyes on it. Stay next to your phone. After the show, get to it. You know what you can do? Turn them down, look at the game, and listen to us and look at us. That's probably what we should do.
That's all I do. Y'all will see me look past y'all sometimes, but that's because I'm checking it. Is you gotta watch the whole trajectory of it. We don't want to take y'all from everything, but y'all know what's up. Well, this is so today was tough for me, right? Because I didn't feel like our offense did very well, but I also didn't feel like they did poorly. And it was really difficult for me to decipher between the two because Mitch Trubisky didn't really do much today at all.
Right.
Jimmy Graham caught the little six and then just left the field. He was like, yeah, whatever. I'm out here. But other than that, Mitch Trubisky didn't really put up much. So it made our QB look like he was doing a little bit more than he really was because he should put up more numbers than he put up. You got both of your weapons back. You got AK-41 on one side and then the AR-13 on the other. Like you should be shooting at all cylinders, but it's just not. It wasn't connected for us today.
Here's my thing, and I'm expecting a lot of these comments. I don't know if we have any comments right now early in the chat room. I'm expecting a lot of people to talk fluidly about the flow of the game, and I get it. I understand it. But for me, I was just happy to see the Saints win a playoff game. It'd been a minute. You know what I'm saying? It's been a minute since they won a playoff game. It's been a while. And so to get that playoff game won, and when you look at the scores around the league, just in all fairness right now, if I told you, which I just told you, the Browns are up 21-0 on the road, against the Steelers. Yesterday, we saw the Ravens go on the road and beat the Titans. We saw the Rams go on the road to Seattle and beat Seattle. You know what I'm saying? We saw the Colts, fall just short of upsetting the Bills on the road. We saw the Bucks go on the road and beat Washington. So when you look at the entire weekend, and we talked about it, we touched on it a little bit last week, this COVID thing in the atmosphere, all these things are coming into play. And so you don't know week in, week out, really what you got. And what you hope is that your team could figure out a way to advance. So for me, all I was looking forward to seeing is could the Saints make the necessary plays to expound upon their lead and to advance to the next game? Because every game in the playoffs is its own lifetime, if that makes sense. Whatever happened this week, while it's relevant with injuries, it won't matter as much the following week because matchup styles make fights. So Tampa's coming in. The Saints have done well against Tampa. I get it. We can look at Drew Brees and the offense and see that they weren't as crisp as they could be. But, come on, Ms. Neat, think about it. Michael Thomas missed some significant time. Drew Brees has been in and out of the lineup. That chemistry, while they've had it because they've both been there at least for the entirety of Thomas's career, it's going to take a little bit to kind of get going again. And I'm hoping, with 1 week now done and advancing to the next week, that they'll be a little bit better come week 2 of the playoffs.
I feel that, but the thing is we in playoffs. We ain't got time. There is no time. I know they need a little bit of time, but we don't have a little bit of time. You know what I'm saying? And we got Brady next week. And one, it's really difficult to beat a team twice in one season, let alone three. And the Tom Brady in postseason ain't the Tom Brady that we saw in regular season. So we gotta really get out together. You know what I'm saying? We gotta really get it together. We gotta get on that rhythm. Thankfully, Kamara will be back in practice live in practice, because I was very impressed with the dedication of my young buck, with him doing practice virtually. Joining in the team meetings via Zoom, doing his.
They paid his ass. He better be there.
Man, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, you still gotta applaud him for his tenacity. So I'm proud of that. But at the same time, we gotta get it together. Like, that rhythm just gotta pick up. We gotta do better.
I mean, it's not excuses. It's applying and understanding for it, right? Yeah. And we talk about getting it together. We talk about Tom Brady. Y'all know I love the GOAT. He's the GOAT. Like, I'm not even gonna make any excuses for it. He's the GOAT. Like, he is what he is. And I understand it'll be really hard for the Saints to beat a team 3 times in a row. Sean Payton has actually done it. He's beaten the team he's faced twice in the regular season, a third time in the playoffs. A few years ago, they had to do it against Carolina. They pulled it off. And so you'll hear about all that this week. I get it. You'll hear about Tampa and what Tampa's been doing, and have they improved? I don't want to diss them relatively, I guess, from the last time we played them. I guess, we'll see. We're going to find out when we play the game. But if you look at the game, they just played against the Washington football team. The score of the game was 31-23. The Bucs had to score 13 points in the fourth quarter to win that game. They don't do that. They may not even be playing this week. And the Washington football team was a 7-10 team. 7-10. So I get it, and I understand the media is going to hype this up. And deservedly so, and every game has its own lifetime. I just finished saying, ultimately, what you saw, in the regular season, you have to say, hey, yeah, and just move on, right? But I like the Saints. I like them. I like them this week. I like the Saints a lot, to be honest, this week coming up. They are a 3-point underdog right now. If you're looking at Vegas, I checked the odds coming out of Vegas already. The Saints are a 3-point underdog. Sean Payton will use all that to his advantage, by the way.
Absolutely. Just to give y'all an update on this Steelers-Brown games, it is up now after capitalizing on an INT. It is now 27-0 in the first half. So, listen, if the Browns lose this game, they don't deserve to go nowhere. Y'all don't deserve to go nowhere but home. Like, this is ridiculous. Because it literally took 2 plays after the interception for them to go down and score. So, they literally are fighting a very defeated team, it seems, a very mentally defeated team. So good luck to them on that. But
what could go bad has basically probably gone bad. And think about it, before y'all start criticizing the Saints, and that's kind of what I'm alluding to. In the playoffs, everything else go out the window. You know what I'm saying? So they won. The Saints won today. You could be the Browns. You could be the Steelers right now. You could be the Steelers. I'd rather be the Saints.
I'd much rather be the Saints right now. But however, I will say that even if we were the Steelers right now with Drew Brees 27-0 in the first quarter, I still wouldn't be worried because I still got Drew Brees. Okay. So we'll see what happens. But that's just an update, y'all. I know y'all here to talk about. But Chuck is going in. Let me get Chuck in this. Hold on now. Hey, Chuck. What up, Chuck? Chuck said, who that? We that. I've seen a lot of fans at the Titan game today. The media reported over 15K was there. That is something that I wanted to bring up today because looking at that Bills-Colts game, they had up their attendance, I think 6,000 or 7,000 people, and the noise difference was audible. And you can literally see it. I really hope TV open up that exclusive list that we were talking about last week and let a few more exclusive friends come to the game next week. But I was really thinking about that. It did have an impact on the game. It was substantially louder. You could tell just looking at the game, not even being there, but just watching the game, you could tell the difference in the noise, the crowd noise. So I'm hopeful because right now, what's the total amount of fans that are being let into the Superdome right now?
I believe it's still 3,000. That's the number that we're at right now.
Yeah, and I mean they were pretty loud today.
I was impressed.
They was a little off beat, but they was loud. They were loud today. So I'm hopeful. We'll see. We'll see how that works. Wait, go ahead.
We'll see. I'm gonna tell you this: when you got Brady coming into your dome, it would be nice. It would be nice to have that. Sean Payton actually, I read an article this week and it made me smile. Sean Payton actually wants 50,000 fans at the dome. When I read it, I said, wait a minute. I said, let me see what Sean's saying. And he had some creative ideas. And it's, he talked about testing every fan before they came in, maybe booking a few hotels. He just had this really extravagant idea of how to create some type of home field advantage. And I get it. We talked about it, at nauseam last week, that ultimately when you work this hard to get some type of advantage, right, you'd like to play with every advantage that you earned. And the Saints earned, and great point out the gate. Look at what happened in week one. Look at week one right now and all of the teams who went on a roll. No disrespect to the Rams and what they were able to do, right? But the Rams go into Seattle and win a playoff game and score 30 points. Miss Neat, you know how hard it is to go into Seattle and win, let alone put up 30 points. They went there and scored 30 points. And you tell the playoffs. Right, in the playoffs, right? So you telling me you think that the Rams, in a normal season would have been able to do that? Probably not. You look at what's happening with the Ravens and them going. You look at what's going on with the Browns and Steelers. This is really it's having an effect. And so I get it. We talked about it. We won't stay on it long. But yeah, it'll be nice. It'll be nice. I'm gonna see if I can slide my way up in there. I'm gonna try. If not this week,
you in Cincinnati now?
We're gonna see. We're gonna see. We're gonna see what I can do because I'm gonna tell you this. Let me be honest about it. If the Saints host the NFC title game, that's what's really kind of got me kind of looking at it and kind of evaluating it. The Saints host the NFC title game. They haven't hosted one without me being there, right? And I already asked the wife, I said, babe, if the Saints end up hosting the NFC title game, come on. I got to be up in there. She said, go. I said, oh, yeah. I said, all right now. So, look, I got the permission. We'll see if I like the ticket costs. So I got to debate. And we'll know because the game against the Bucs will be played Sunday night. So we'll know if the Rams have gone on the road on Saturday and beaten Green Bay. So they can put all that to bed, pretty early. But the Saints have no easy task. Like this is, and nobody does. Obviously, you look at this Brown score, it just, we're talking about playoff football. It's one and done. It's like, March Madness. They don't have to be the better team every game you play. It's got to be the better team today. And right now, the Browns are up 28-0. It's so good to be a Saints fan, Nick, right now.
It sure is. It feels good. But this the black and gold I want to wear because this black and gold. Lord, they ain't looking good. Justin, Lord. But as we move on to next week, we got to really talk about where do our challenges lie. I think our advantage on next week is our defense. Our defense has been amazing. They are just phenomenal and relentless on attacking Brady. They put a ton of pressure on Brady on the last game, and I really expect them to continue to do the same because they just haven't let up. But where do you feel like our biggest challenge is next week?
Ooh, that back seven can't give the game away. I think the front seven is going to play good, and I'm with you. I think defense is the strong point, and I actually believe. And I did some homework once I realized it was us in Tampa. I said, let me kind of pull up what happened in the first two matchups. See what we could look forward to maybe. I know it's a lifetime ago now, right? But there are some things you can draw and get some wisdom from, right? And so the Saints going into this playoff game, they were the most penalized team in the NFL, right? And so you can't give the game away by allowing the receivers to get the pass interference calls down the field. And I think ultimately the offense will play, they'll be sharper next week. I think Sean Payton has a game plan that works against Bruce Arians. The Saints offense looked sharp for the most part, both times they played them. I think the Saints will be equally as sharp. I think the media is going to help the Saints this week because I think everybody is going to be giving Brady roses and just throwing themselves at his feet. And I think that the Saints, as I told you, they're already 3-point underdogs, as the game came out a few moments ago, obviously. I think the Saints will use that. I think the Saints will use the same energy. Think about it, Ms. Neek. We both gave the Saints no shot in Tampa when they played Tampa. What was it, a Monday night game a few weeks ago, obviously, right? And so they're going to hear a lot of the same things. Drew didn't look as good. The running game was okay, but the Saints offense didn't make plays with Michael Thomas, and Emmanuel Sanders was nowhere to be found. The kid Harris was neat. We shouldn't even have went this long without saying his name. Kudos to that young man because he showed up today, and he's an X factor.
He's an explosive player if he really gets touches. I feel like the more he touches the ball, the better he gets.
Yeah,
because he ran. There was one. I think my favorite play this season was his when he brought back a punt for a touchdown. Like it was like the most beautiful run. Like his field vision is amazing. I don't know how he knows his cuts 3 cuts before he needs to do them, but he definitely get down there. He's a little slippery thing. He reminds me of Kamara, but he's in a smaller frame, so he just slides through defenders. It's amazing. He actually is my Vignette pick for the night since we talking about it.
Good deal. Shout out to everybody coming through and showing us love tonight in the
shout.
Do you see all these wonderful comments we got?
Comments. Like I'm trying. Okay, so we started Sean Payton plans to have 50K. What is the Louisiana Superdome capacity though? What is it, 90?
It's like 85, 90,000. Yeah.
So they trying to do more than 50% capacity. That's kind of, I don't know if we're gonna pull that one off. I would be okay with 20K because that means that you can really space people out. Like, but you gotta open up the whole dome, but then you gotta bring more people in. So it's tough. That's a tough one to I don't know. I don't know what TD Cantrell gonna do. I can't listen. I'm not even gonna play with it. But John Rush feels the mayor should do everything possible to increase the fans to at least 25,000 in the dome next week. I would say 20 to 25. That would be okay. I mean, at least 10, right? Because we had 6 at the Bills game, and it still looked very scarce in the stadium. So at least 10 would be cool. But Demetrius also says that Tom Brady will be the biggest problem. John Rush says he thinks Marcus Williams has mental lapses. The secretary will have to be laser focused. Speaking of mental lapses, okay, so I have to give you your flowers today. I have to give you your flowers today. Today, I jumped on the J. Orleans, King Orleans bandwagon. They said, we got to get rid of Lutz, man. It's not, bruh, like, this is not the time for this, bruh. Like, you can't, these wide left, wide right shot, like, what is happening? They're not even close. Like, what is going on? I don't know what's happening. I feel like I haven't steered away from the fact that I feel like he's hurt. But if he's hurt to this degree, he got to go.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. When he missed the kick, every time he missed a kick, I'm going to think about you. I'm going to think about us in our debate about him. And I'm on team Luck sucks. That's where I'm at. And I appreciate, look, it is hard for these NFL players to remain consistent week in and week out, but they get paid to do a job. And when you look at what Lutz is doing, and you think about what's coming next week, I'm going to tell you this right now. Sean Payton and company are already preparing for next week. Like they ain't going home. He going to eat at the office. They already getting themselves together for next week because that's what greatness does, right? They take advantage of every moment they have to prepare. And I think that Sean Payton and company will be looking through the available kickers to see who they can bring in this week that can really compete with Lutz. And if they feel a guy can come in and give them an honest shot at making a big kick, and think about it, we're talking 45-yard field goals right now. We're not talking 55, 56-yard field goals, and these things will affect your ability to be able to kind of work through the game and make your decisions on 4th down. And so the Saints will need to count on 3 points. And look, are they good enough to go beyond it? Yeah. You look at the Saints defense, Malcolm Jenkins, you know what I'm so happy about, Ms. Neek? Malcolm Jenkins historically has done very well against Tom Brady. He seems, think about it, he caught a pick 6 in the Super Bowl with the Eagles. He went 100 yards against him. They beat him in the Super Bowl. He's been a part of this Saints team that beat him twice this time. He was also a part of the Saints team that beat Tom Brady when the Patriots came to the Dome in 2009. That was his rookie season.
Yeah,
So when you look at evaluating, next week, and I saw something that Chuck said, he said, or John Rush, he said, Henderson will be back next week. And I don't know if Chuck kind of brought it in or not, but we need Henderson back. We need to make sure that we're fully healthy. I think the Saints defense get after Brady ass next week. I love Tom Brady. Y'all know that's my dog. But his kryptonite has been a front seven that will apply pressure. And that's what this Saints defense do very well, Ms. Neek. They apply pressure very, very well. And so, Lutz.
He doesn't have the inability. He doesn't have the ability to stay in the pocket very long.
Right.
So that I think the combination of that pressure it looks good for us. I mean, if we can run another clinic, then I bet.
I'm telling y'all now, and I saw John. I'm sorry, I apologize. I saw John say that 3-point favoring of the Bucks is insane. I agree. If you watched what happened the first 2 times, I know it's a lifetime. That Saints front seven may be the best front seven left in the playoffs. And that front seven going to have an impact on who win this thing. I'm going to be very honest with you. Ask Patrick Mahomes, because he faced it and he got himself dealt with. We saw Aaron Rodgers kind of do his thing. We'll see part 2. Brady know what it's hitting for. That front seven the Saints got is the real deal. And they're gonna bring it next week. And Lutz, just to kind of go back to your point, because you asked a great question. I definitely appreciate you for noticing that he tripping right now. He tripping, and we can't throw a guy out there that we've seen miss the amount of kicks that he's missed and be shocked if he misses it next week. We can't be shocked no more.
It's like the second half of the season though, because he wasn't making these kind of mistakes in the first half of the season. I don't really know what's happening, and it's that instant decline that makes me feel like he got hurt at some point, and we just aren't privy to that information. But at the same time, when we're in the middle of a playoff game and it's within points, I don't have time to lose points. That's how the Colts lost their game, by just messing up a point here, a point there. All of that adds up, bro, and I don't have time for it. If we going for it, we need to get it in there.
You ain't got to, hey, look, I'm with you a band. I agree with you 100%. We got to have those 3, especially, look, 55 and out. If you miss it, okay. You may not be an elite NFL kicker. But this is the same guy that hit, I believe, a 56-yard field goal at the gun to beat the Texans to open the season last year. So we know he got him. That's why I used to call him what you called him. But I don't know if it is mental now, like you said. And maybe he is hurting. Like, there's a mixture of things, but we just can't allow it at this point. If he's hurting, put him on IR. We can't allow this guy to miss a kick that an NFL kicker should make. Bottom line.
But if we put him on IR, who's our backup right now?
Well, we'd have to go out, and the Saints did bring in a few kickers. I believe it was last week. We have to go out and bring somebody we felt that could come in and compete and give us 50 and in. 50 and in. Look, they got a lot of guys, in my opinion, that can kick that field goal 50 and in.
Yeah. I think that's where the holdup is, and that's why we're keeping him in, because we don't have like a viable backup for him. But at the same time, he knows that they're looking for a viable backup, and it's messing with his psyche. And now we're getting weird.
Oh no, you're good. I'm about to say I got 2 words for you, because I'm gonna set you up, and you're gonna smile, and you're gonna go in.
Oh.
He's got one of these names with an extension, so it's like. I actually
already ready for this one.
Go ahead. Gardner?
Are you talking about CJ?
Say it again.
Are you talking about CJ?
CJ a bad man. CJ a bad man.
Listen, we connected, because I was like, really, like, is this dude a hindrance or is he a benefit? Because today I was all for that New Orleans ignorance, baby. He get up under everybody's skin. I'm like, this boy be messing with everybody.
I love it.
Oh my God. Like, what? I want him mic'd up. But I know that they can't mic him up.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah, they go, right. They'll make up some new rules. You can't.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they can't mic him up. But baby, but I tell you, he get him out of there. He get him out, and he eat all them punches. Y'all swing all you want. But guess what? You swung, you hit the helmet, now you're gone, and I'm still here.
And you got to know that some of the more hypersensitive people, maybe from New York, and I mean by New York, I mean NFL offices in New York, they're going to try to find out, and they maybe sending memos to Sean Payton. Please tell CJ to play nice. I mean, I can kind of hear it, how they would design it right now, right? But I love how he plays because he reminds me of a throwback. And if you don't have strong mental focus playing against this kid will find a way to get under your skin, and he's going to get the Saints an additional 15 yards some way, somehow, to get a significant player thrown out the game. That was amazing.
What got Anthony Miller, like they number 2 player, thrown out of the game early? Because he does it so slick. Because I swear, I saw a little something. I turned my head, and then the camera angles didn't get back, and then the next thing you know, the ref is like, and Anthony Miller is disqualified. I was like, what happened? No, yeah. So listen, if anybody that's listening, I'm sorry, but it seems like he just gonna keep talking, and he gonna keep making y'all mad. Because if you keep falling for it, then it kind of works in our advantage. It has not hurt us this season.
Oh. Sean Payton, you know what? I'm gonna be real with you. Sean Payton love it. You know why you love it? Come on, Miss Nick. You know our locker room. You see the locker room.
Hey, Petty.
He love it. He love it. We love it. I love it. You love it too.
I know. It's so bad.
like Demetrius just said, he's gotten under Michael Thomas' skin. Think about it. He got 2 receivers from the Bears thrown out of games. One got suspended for 2 games. Michael Thomas on our own team got suspended for a game. And this kid, he ain't no joke.
He's just a defensive player, and any offensive player is gonna get that work. I don't care who you is, but I don't care what color you got on. Listen, if you on the other side of the ball from me, I'm at your top, and I'm here for it. I love it. I love it all, and it helps. I mean, it helps. It helps.
Can I ask you a question? I'm gonna tell you something I initially felt. We are watching probably the last snaps of Drew Brees. And y'all know that's my dog. I don't make no apologies for saying that's the homie, right? To watch Taysom Hill throw an interception, I understand the play call. Tony Romo alluded to it was coming. It was open. I get it. I get the psyche. There was a small piece of me, though, that was like, Sean, don't be wasting possessions and time. If we're going to lose, let Drew Brees flame out with this. Let him do it. I don't want nobody else turning the ball over.
You talking about him?
Yes.
The ball got tipped. He didn't. That wasn't necessarily his fault.
Now, yeah, I agree.
Like it was a bad throw. The ball literally, and it got really tipped. It got tipped.
Right.
So that wasn't necessarily his fault. Now, if it was one of those plays where he just completely lost control of the ball, he just wasn't holding on to it. Like, sorry, I dropped it. Then that would be one thing. So at first I was like, but that was the fan in me.
Right.
Just watching the replay and seeing it, that wasn't his bad.
And it was a good call.
Could easily been Drew behind it.
Right. It was a good call. It was the appropriate call. Like I said, Tony Romo had said, look, the Saints don't take a shot because the way the Bears are defending him, they're defending him like he's not really a quarterback. Look for the Saints to go over the top. And we did it. And they got to the ball. And let me give the Bears some credit. See that big boy Hicks? And we drafted him. That was one of ours, Gifted. He's one of ours. That kid in the middle, that goal line stance, there are things that the Bears, I hate to give you tried awards out. I know y'all don't want to hear that if you're a Bears fan. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But that Bears front defensive line, and when they're healthy, that defense, they're building and going in the right direction. They just got to find them a legitimate quarterback. They got to find them a quarterback. But Hicks is a monster. He's a monster.
Mac is always going to be a monster. He
always. Right.
That Mac truck coming, you might as well just take a knee. Just give yourself up. It's over. And they do have some scary weapons on their team.
Right.
Down. And they were down quite, I think it was like 2 or 3 players that were out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they were missing some significant pieces. The Saints took advantage of it like they're supposed to. And if the Bears continue to build in the right direction, they could make some things interesting in the NFC North. So when you look at that last goal line stance and the struggles that the Saints had today offensively, matchups make fights. I don't know if the Saints will play, and y'all could tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe if the Ravens, I don't know. In the audience, you guys will let me know. I don't know if the Saints will play a more impressive defensive line than what they just played against the Bears, or a better linebacker than Mac. Like, think about it. We played them tough in the regular season, right? And of course, they played us tough, and we kind of, opened up on them in the second half. Styles make fights. Their style defensively, it just seems to be effective at making it competitive. Let's just say that. It was competitive. Could Sean have ran the ball a little more? Nick, what you thought? Think we could have ran a little more?
He could have ran a little more, but I think when he did run, he didn't run the way he should have. He had Kamara going straight up the gut, and you can't have him going straight up the middle with these big boys standing right there waiting on his little ass. Like, and then I don't understand why that's the case, because young swivel hips can move. Like, put him on, let him get out on the edge and cut around these dudes. Like, he's not Mark Ingram. He's not gonna power through and get those extra yardage. He's not that guy. His strength is in his mobility and in his ability to kind of maneuver and torque his body to get around or get out of tackles. But he's not gonna go head up and lower a shoulder and push a line. He's just not. It's not gonna happen. So I didn't understand.
Outside of Aaron Donald, Aaron Donald is the problem. Like, bottom line, he is the problem. Right? Outside
prayers for him, even though that's not really a thing for us, but y'all know I got family over there, and that impacts my family directly. So I do want him to get healthy and they get back to where they're supposed to go. Now I don't know if they're gonna see us, but
right. I mean, think about this. This is what we talked about it last week. The Saints and Drew Brees on his way out. What's the story? If you want to create a story for Drew Brees, this is the story, right? We didn't get a chance to play the Vikings in the postseason, but we kind of officially eliminated them when we beat them a few weeks ago, right? The Vikings have been a playoff nemesis, right? We played against them in the NFC title game, beat them, and of course they came into our house and beat us last year, right? Then they beat us with the Minnesota Miracle. All right, the Bears. Up until today, the Saints had not beaten the Bears in the postseason. The Saints had played the Bears, to my understanding, 2 other times. Both times was in Chicago, and the Saints lost both of those games. And in 2006, the Saints went on the road, and that was that nasty, they treated us down bad. They was talking bad about Katrina and a lot of things from Chicago, and they won.
Oh, y'all forget.
Right. They won, and they lost the Super Bowl, but, so they beat us there. So Drew Brees knocks out the Bears. All right. Next up, of course, you got Tom Brady and the Bucs. And I do think the Saints have a really good shot at winning next week. I do. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to pick that game when we get to the end of the show, though. If the Rams somehow upset Green Bay and the Saints take care of business on Sunday, that sets up an NFC title rematch at the Dome. A lot of different players. It's not the same teams by far. But Saints, Rams in the Dome again for the right to go to the Super Bowl. So, if you're looking at things and how things are kind of fix itself, right? Drew Brees would have an opportunity to beat the Rams. You beat the Bears. Those are the 2 teams you faced in NFC title games that you didn't win.
You eliminate the Vikings off the rip.
You already eliminated the Vikings, right?
All guys are always gonna smile on the Saints. That's just what they do.
I hope so. I hope so. We give it its time. It's time. The Saints are too good of a team. They really are. This Saints defense is the best defense the Saints have had since Sean Payton has been in New Orleans. They're better, in my opinion. And I know we have Vilma. Maybe at linebacker. Can I say that? Can I say that they better at linebacker? I don't know if I can say that. I like our linebacker. I like Davis. I do. But damn, Fajita and Sally and Vilma. Ooh. Ooh, right. Ooh. Secondary, I think we may be a little better, maybe.
But that's the thing, Dave. You gotta lump them into like a collective. Davis is a hog by himself.
Right. Correct. And Vilma was a beast.
I mean, but he wasn't no beast like Davis. He's not. He's not as strong as Davis is. He's not. He's just not.
Mm.
We're gonna compare beasthood. I think. Oh, but that is tough. That is tough. But I do think that we are the most cohesive defense that we've had. Like we attack from all sides and we do very well. We play very well at all positions. So I don't know what are we doing.
No, I'm just agreeing with you. I'm saying, yeah, you're right. Like, yeah, you speaking, you talking.
I mean, because I just feel like collectively it's a sync and we're just all in sync and everybody has been playing strategically well. We could do better on our penalties because Lord knows they come at the wrong time.
Right.
Other than that, I feel like this is the better class. I do. I would consider this the better class.
That D line ain't no joke. That D line, if you want to say a defense starts up front, I think that would make this defense better because this defensive line is a problem. The same defensive line ain't no joke.
No, not at all. And they don't back down. I'm like, they should be tired. Okay. Speaking of time and being tired, we had a 9-minute drive today.
Mm-hmm.
If we are able to go into every game and control the clock the way that we control the clock on that drive, it's gonna be ridiculous. Like as long as we keep Tom Brady off the field and then let our defense rest that entire time,
right.
Oh my, it's gonna be a problem. It is going to be a problem.
We're gonna have to run the ball. That's the bottom line. They're gonna have to run the ball. You know, I know. Look, I'm all with the Drew nostalgia. And I love number 9, I do. But number 9 can't win this Super Bowl on his own. He cannot. Can he be effective enough to win it if put in the right situations? You damn right he can. And so Sean Payton's going to have to figure out a way to continue to run the football effectively and at about a 5-yard per run, 4 to 5 yard per run average. And if you do that opens up so much. Saints play action game, the Saints screen game, so many things open up. Taking shots downfield open up when you can run the football. You just spoke about it. That 9-minute drive, controlling the clock, very smart with the ball, protecting the football. That's going to be big next week, Miss Nick. That's going to be real big.
And the reality of it all is that, we have a quarterback who's injured. Like, he just is. And you can tell on that quarterback sneak that we had to have returned. He thought he extended himself enough to get across the pylon, but realistically he drew back too quick, and I said it at the time that it happened, but you can tell that he saw a hit coming and he's still trying to protect his body, so he extended real quick and pulled it back, but he didn't do what he would normally do. Normally Drew is in a full he's fully horizontal straight out and then he lays down, but he just it was really quick, and because he knows that he's hurt right now, it would behoove us to keep the ball on the ground because, we got, to your point, we got play action. We got a really strong running game. We got Murray. We got Kamara. They can really get downfield on the ground. Like there's no doubt in my mind that could potentially happen. We're strong on the edge. We should just really be trying to give Drew as much of a break as possible. Now, if you want those storyline, passes, wait for the Super Bowl. Let's just do that in the big game. Like, we're going to need it anyway. We're going to probably end up seeing Mahomes in the Super Bowl. So
right.
We're going to need them long passes anyway. So you might as well just keep him as protected as possible right now and then unleash him in his last game of his last season of his career.
Look for Tampa, and you did a great job explaining the importance of basically time of possession. In the 2 games that we played against Tampa this year, the game that we took care of them, the Saints had a total time of possession of 40 minutes, basically, 40 minutes and 4 seconds. Tampa had the ball for 19 minutes, 56 seconds. So we basically doubled them in time of possession, right? The Saints were 9 of 14 on third down, right? So they had a plan and executed at the highest level. They were so arrogant. They were 9 of 14 on third down, right? They even went for it on fourth down twice and got 1 out of 2. So when they didn't get on third down, the Saints like, we ain't taking the foot off the pedal. We digging into y'all. Let's get it. It was very, very aggressive.
it would make sense because realistically, we own third down on both sides of the ball. Today, we held Chicago. We 3-and-out them all game. Like, they don't even know what the first looked like. At what point, it's like, well, wait. So do the ball move or no? No. Okay. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, we control third down on both sides of the ball, so we might as well just stay on the ground, run this clock out, and then just get on to the next round. Like that. And realistically, I think it puts us in a better place. It wears down the defense because they're consistently having the whole blocks. Eventually, somebody's gonna mess up. So we just gotta like really, really honestly be strategic with the clock. I think that in itself puts us in a much more favorable place.
Latavius Murray, I'm praying and hoping that he's healthy. I know that they mentioned on the live broadcast he had an issue with his thigh. And then of course Taysom Hill, you look at that matchup where we won 38-3. He actually carried the ball, gifted 7 times for 54 yards. He had a 7.7 yard average. Latavius Murray had it 10 times for 39 yards. And so we'll need those guys to come in and run the football. And look for Tampa. That's what Tampa's going to try to do. And the Saints know it. To ease that pressure off of Tom Brady as New Orleanian and native, obviously, of our city, right? Leonard Fournette's going to have to run that football to give Tampa any shot next week. If they're not running the football against the Saints and kind of keeping the Saints off balance and have an effective running game, you can book it. The Saints will be playing the NFC title game next in 2 weeks. Bottom line, if the Bucs can't run the football, if Brady don't have a run game to support him, Tampa will lose. Bottom line. You can show me the rushing stats for the game, and I'll tell you who won. That's how significant that is.
I mean, I'm never gonna say that we're gonna lose.
Well, you did one time before. You did.
We're gonna lose, which is the I didn't think we were gonna sweep Brady. This is Brady we're talking about. Like, come on.
You're gonna sweep him now. We're gonna go throw 3 on him. That's what you think?
We ain't got no choice now. We ain't got no choice. This is how it works. I'm sorry. Different ball game. Comments, he said Hill had a wide open receiver in the beginning of the game and missed by holding the ball too long. He holds the ball too long. He just does. He holds the ball too long, and it puts us in a place where the ball is susceptible to be stripped out, to be fumbled, and all of that other stuff. But that's because of his apprehension. He doesn't believe in it. He's waiting for his receivers to get completely open and does not, for some reason, compute that that's not the way that this works.
Real quick. I apologize, but you're gonna enjoy this. This is real funny. I kind of look at our interaction. We have a bunch of pages. We're on Sports Talk NOLA on Facebook, Love Sports Hip Hop on Facebook. Go like those pages if you're on Facebook. I go and look at, we did have an interaction on my page for our show, so people are liking it. Make sure you're sharing it, doing all that good stuff that you should do with the show. As soon as I come to my page, though, Gifted.
Wow.
There's a black man. BlackEnterprise.com is reporting in 2 years, and I feel like a big dummy sitting up here right now. This black man turned $1,500 into a multi-million-dollar business selling flashcards. And I know the lottery is real big right now. It's almost $500 million. This brother took $1,500 and flipped it into a multi-million-dollar business selling flashcards, Ms. Neek. I know this is a sports talk show, but when I see that, I got to say, brother, well done. I got to.
Took $1,500 and made it. That's all pyramid scheme. You give me $1,500, I'll flip it into $1 million. Who did
that? His name is Freddie Taylor. In less than 2 years. And I know y'all look. I understand. We coming. But come on, man. In 2 years, $1,500 selling flashcards, multi-million-dollar business. Fred's the man. Shout out to Fred. He made our show today. Shout out to Fred.
We're gonna try to flip this show into 15 shows.
Oh man. Hopefully the Saints can flip, playoff wins into a Super Bowl ring. How about that?
I mean, that will happen. Ain't no hopefully. Out the window. This has to happen. This is it. This has to happen. Because the more we see Drew play, the more you realize, like, yes, he's playing at a high level, but that's because he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Hall of Fame quarterbacks typically play at a high level when they're not playing at their best level. That's just kind of how it works. But we're looking at the end of his run, and he knows it, and he's ready, and he wants to get it. So it's like do or die, gentlemen, do or die. Like this is it. We gotta get it.
This is it.
Yeah, there's and everybody feels that way. I know last year we were kind of like, oh well, kind of. He might not. He might. This year it's like, all right, we got 11 broken ribs, a punctured lung. He's 42. Oh, yeah, he got 4 kids. Brittany tired. Like this is it. This is it. Kids getting older. They know daddy not home, so now they want daddy home. So it's time to wrap it up. And he got a contract sitting waiting for him to do this commentary. You know, so like, look, we need to get this ring. I'm gonna get this money. I got another bag to get. So we got to do it. We got to do it this year.
Absolutely, and I think the Saints will do well next week. But here's the deal. I'm gonna set y'all up right now. Let me set it up because I might have to debate this, but I shouldn't have to. And I'm gonna encourage Ms. Nick. We have to at least do a split. Because I'm not sure. Did we do the 5th quarter? I gotta go back and check. We did a post-game show, but we didn't do a lead-in show to week 1. We didn't do that, right? We didn't do a lead-in show. So with that being said, I'm picking against the Saints next week, Ms. Nick. I have no choice. I have to do that. I have to do that because if I pick the Saints and they lose, I'm going to say it's my fault, just energy-wise. And I think if we split, we might be all right. We might be okay. I know that we went universally with the Saints losing and the Saints won in a very commanding way.
It has to be authentic, right? And you have said multiple times in this show, Tampa loses. We win next week. I'm 100% confident. So maybe I should pick them to lose. Because
hey, look, I'm gonna feel bad. The Saints can't lose next. I can't say that. See, you know how you messing up? You're tricking me and tricking the people that's watching this show. Y'all know I'm gonna be really hurt next week. I love Tom Brady, you know that. But I'm come on, man. The Saints, you know, that's the heart, right? And so it's Tom Brady fault for coming into the NFC South. He ain't had to do that. Him and Belichick should have worked that out. And Belichick really paying for that right now. He looking bad right now. But I need the Saints to win next week and make it to the NFC title game because of what you just said, Ms. Neek. I don't know how many more times we're going to see Drew Brees. And I think for Drew Brees' legacy, I think he is somewhat underrated. I think a lot of people look at the stats that he's put up in New Orleans and they respect it, but they don't elevate him to the level of conversation that I feel like he deserves. I think Drew Brees arguably is a top 10 quarterback of all time. I don't know if you can make an argument about it, but next week will go a long way in making sure that when you don't include him in your top 10, somebody say you're crazy.
Yeah.
You know, they'll say you're crazy. He's got to win that game next week. If Brees can beat Brady and then go on the road to Lambeau Field, beat Aaron Rodgers, let's just say what it looks like if he beats the favorites. Beat Brady, sweep him, go on the road to Lambeau, beat Aaron Rodgers, then beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. That's what he needs. It's the best way for him to go out. Now, I'm wanting to see the game in New Orleans, but for Drew Brees' legacy, if he does that, I mean, you know, you can't not put him in the top 10. You have to.
You got to put him in the top 10 because then you look at the whole, you got to look at it. Well, I mean, because that's what happens, right? When we talk LeBron and Jordan, LeBron and Kobe beat him here and this, that. Like, okay, well, listen, like, line them up. Basically, that's basically what it's going to be. Line your top 5 up. Top 5 playing right now. AR, we got Patrick Mahomes, we got Tom Brady. Line them up.
Right.
And then knock them down. I don't want to hear nothing.
Right.
Nothing. There's nothing to be said, like at all. You gotta have me in that conversation. I mean, he should be in the conversation now. Right. But you know, but if there was ever a question, then just line them up. And that's what I'm waiting for. And that I think that, you know, as much as we talked about how tough of a season 2020 is and how much 2020 has an asterisk on it or whatever, my stance will always be that this is probably the most difficult football season that we've seen, with the exception of maybe the 2006 season when we were coming back after Katrina and it was just a lot of chaos. But that was for us as a team because of what our city was going through. But overall, across the entire NFL, this is the hardest season to win and be as proficient and as highly effective as the New Orleans Saints have been this week. That's just that. And when you could, because you're factoring in COVID, you're factoring in social justice, you're factoring in a bunch of other stuff outside of just having a football season. And then in terms of that, even going in and having an actual football season has been difficult. There's no regular schedule. There's no regular practices. Games are being postponed. They're being shown at different times on different stations. Like nothing is the same. So for you to go out and be highly effective and really honestly put up winning numbers and produce a winning season in the midst of this, losing key players, we got a bunch of injuries. Like it's just a ton of stuff. So I feel like this is writing itself out to be a storybook ending for Brees if we just keep winning.
I agree. And then when you look at, Michael Thomas, I mean, they got something that I'm going to tell you about in a moment. If you have not seen it, Michael Thomas, I just spoke his name. He was targeted 7 times today. Do yourself a favor, Ms. Neek. Go to Michael Thomas's Twitter page right now. Sean Payton is such a good sport. I see them, them low Concords he got on, by the way. So shout out to Sean Payton for knowing what's up with the MJs and a beautiful silhouette that he has on. But Sean Payton just had the Nickelodeon slime hit him. Go. If you haven't seen it, we're going to try to share that to our social media. So look for it both on Love Sports Hip Hop as well as Sports Talk NOLA. Sean Payton sitting down with Nickelodeon logo in the background. It just got slimed. He kept his promise. So there was some promise that Sean Payton had to keep. And he took care of it. Not only do we have that, we have Drew Brees' kids hitting the gritty. They hitting the gritty all on CBS, in the press box. Not in the press box, I'm sorry. In the suites. That's what they are. Obviously, they're not going to be in the press box. They're going to be in the suites with the kind of money Drew Brees got. But yeah, so some pretty interesting things that are happening. And look, it's big time next week, Ms. Neek. I'm almost to the point where, I know, we ain't gonna do it. I don't want to do nothing we don't normally do. If it was, I'm about to say, could we do something? Nah, I don't even want to touch. I don't even want to go on. Let's just talk about it after it happens.
Let me shout out the NFL for putting the game today on Nickelodeon. I thought that was like super dope. I thought it was an opportunity, and they made it kid friendly. Like they had SpongeBob in the upright. And like every time somebody went into the end zone got slimed digitally. It was just like really cute, and it was a way. And like they would do different when they would do a close up on different players. They would put like character eyes on them and just make it like a really fun interactive space for children, which I think is dope because, kids, you trying to watch the game, the kids running around being irritating, turn it on Nickelodeon, they just might sit down and shut up. And you can watch the game with peace. I thought that was pretty dope. I do want to shout out the NFL for that, for being innovative and being adaptive and understanding that there are times where we're going to have to make changes and concessions, but how can we make the best of this? And that has been the whole theme of this COVID season is how do we make the best of it? Yeah, we don't have the crowds in there. How do we engage the crowds? Which I think the Saints have done an amazing job of doing with their social media and bringing the fans into the locker room and things like that. So I just thought that was really dope. I wanted to make sure that I highlighted that and brought up the NFL. But I will drop this, and it's funny because as soon as you said that, I looked in my Instagram and a friend of mine sent me the video of Sean Payton getting slimed and said all I could think about was the fact that he got them fresh J's on. They got slime all over them shades. Right. But I will post that video to our page right now.
It is time to go on and make your official pick. Y'all heard everything I said. Y'all know where my heart at coming up this week. But let me make a case for why it doesn't happen. I think the Saints will. No, I don't. Watch this. The Saints could. Let me say this. The Saints could turn over the ball at an inopportune time. We have a field goal kicker who's not confident. Okay. We have a defense in the back seven that has given up penalties at the wrong time. We have a motivated Hall of Famer who understands that he's a few games away from saying, okay, nobody close to me. If you thought you could make an argument for Elway, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, or anybody else, I would want a ring in Tampa in one season, right? On my way to doing it, I beat Drew Brees in New Orleans. I went to Lambeau Field and beat Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Then I beat Patrick Mahomes. I am the GOAT. Don't nobody say nothing. You ain't gonna be able to say nothing with It's like saying Jordan the GOAT. You ain't gonna be able to say nothing about Tom Brady if he does this, and it's gonna be the ultimate FU to Bill Belichick. Not to the New England fan base, because he loves the people in New England. It will be that to Belichick, though. And so I think there's motivation in Tampa after being beaten twice, being handled the way they were handled, that they could come in and win this game. And I have to, out of consistency, pick them because I just can't on air go the other way. I understand what you're saying, Ms. Neat. I can't do it because I'm going to be the one with, face all tore up, crying on next week saying I should never made that pick, head down. I can't do it. Tampa win next week by 3.
Okay, well, I got the Saints winning next week by 4 or more. And the reason that I have that is because we have a really strong quarterback who knows he's in the end of his season. I feel like all of our receivers are going to be energized next week. We got Cook, we got Thomas, we're going to have Kamara, the Sanders is going to get in the game because I didn't even really hear his name today. So I know he going to want to eat. He already hungry. So we all them boys. Hill's gonna come back. I know Hill banged his knee a little bit, but he ran out on that field and he fought it. I see Murray coming back. I think his thigh will be all right. We're just gonna put some ice up on that. So we come in with 6-7 for sure weapons, and then we got people coming out the woodwork like what was his name today? Humphrey? Who was that? I don't know. Who was he? I think he came out the stands. He was on that list you was talking about. And put him on the field. Drew was like, look, I'm gonna give you the ball too. So I feel like we're gonna energize and charge up all of our weapons for next week because we are one step closer. You know what I'm saying? I do not feel like Tampa's defense is gonna do anything for our O-line. I just don't. Our O-line controls the game at every turn. And then, I feel like we've already called their number. We got their number and they know we do. And we've studied them just as much as they studied us. But the difference is that they haven't been able to match what they studied every time that they studied us. So I call the New Orleans Saints winning next week by 4 or more.
Did you know that Alvin Kamara was signed to quality control?
I didn't know that. I think we talked about that. He is the first, if not the only, signee on quality control. He's cousins with I want to say someone from the Migos.
Okay, all right. I mean, I ain't mad. He's from the A. He played for us. I know that makes them sick. He is in New Orleans, and they had a chance to draft him because we drafted him late. He could be in Atlanta right now, but y'all ain't want AK-41 now. But we got that thing in New Orleans. He's a beast, and I know that you were talking about giving the beignets to Harris. You know what? I'm gonna join you because we can literally give Alvin Kamara every week. He can get the beignets and be overweight. But I'm gonna join you. Can I join you this week and give mine to Harris? Because I was watching the game. I said, you know what? Homie deserved the beignets this week. I'm just giving it to him. I'm glad the way he showed up. He made some really big time, pivotal plays and big moments to keep drives moving and did his thing. So that's why I want to go ahead and get that too.
If you want to give it to him, then I think I'm gonna give mine to Jenkins. Then I'm gonna go on the other side.
I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that.
He showed up in plenty of different ways. He made a lot of power plays today. I feel like Harris has a bit of more of an advantage to get my beignets, but since you are already on the same page with me as you usually are, then I'm gonna just go ahead and make sure you get some too. So Jenkins got my beignets this week since Jay took care of Harris on my behalf. So
good deal. Good deal.
That's time for nobody be getting fat, having no kind of diabetic nothing in the middle of playoffs. So no, you can only have 3 beignets. I'll get 2 more after we get that Super Bowl ring. That's how that's going.
It's a big week. I know we got about 2 more minutes left in today's show. Can we give an update to the scores of what's going on right now? Did the Pittsburgh Steelers get in the end zone or did they not?
The Pittsburgh Steelers have gotten into the end zone. It is 42 seconds left in the second quarter. We're just about to go into halftime, and Cleveland is now up 28-7.
And they're driving. They're about to add more points, right?
I'm trying to get field placement right now. They're doing a replay, but they just had a really big run by number 27. So they're in the red zone right now. They're on the 13-yard line, and they're about to snap. So they will probably, if they stay on trend, be back in the end zone in about 12 seconds.
If you'll allow me, I know you always take us out. We got about a minute left. I do want to say something to our audience in closing. Love each other. And I know that sounds that's cliche. Love each other. This we all saw, right? And I don't want to go deep into that. We all saw. I just think right now is a time with everything that's going on in our world. Enjoy your NFL playoffs. Enjoy the college football national championship on tomorrow. There are a lot of good things that are still happening in life. We're all blessed for being here and having an opportunity to talk and speak. I have a friend of mine who I sit with at the Saints games who's battling cancer and significant battle that he's in right now. And I miss him. And I realized when I texted him today, he didn't answer me right away. And I hadn't texted him in a long time, right? And he's a diehard Saints fan. This is the man that when we won the NFC title game in 2009, I turned around to hug him, and he was crying. You know what I'm saying? Like literally crying. The Saints had done this amazing thing. And he's been there with me in those seats in that area since we purchased those seats when we reopened the Dome. And so it got me thinking. I said, you know what? I want to make sure that I say something on air to our audience that you'll hear a lot about a lot of stuff. And I get it. There are a lot of serious things that are going on. We got to find a way. If we don't find a way to start really loving each other and tolerating each other's thoughts and ideas with reason, I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to do a football show, meaning we're not going to have a national football league. So let's just everybody be a little careful. And with a new year just starting, right? Let's try to get some good energy and good momentum going into 2021. So I wanted to say that before I got off the air, and now the floor is yours.
Well, I echo those sentiments, and I want to first start on that by loving up on all of y'all. You, everybody listening, everybody that supports us, that's behind the scenes, even young Jason who always brings in the water and whatever other tools King Orleans decides he needs before the show starts. We appreciate all of y'all. We could not do this without y'all. We could not have made it through this season without your interaction, without y'all jumping into the comments and letting us know that you're here and you got something to say and allowing us to bring your thoughts to air. So as always, as promised, we will be here next week after our next playoff game. This is the 5th quarter. I am your girl, Miss Neat. That's your boy, King Orleans, and we'll see y'all next week. We love y'all.